that echo again. I'm back to the microphone up here. For some reason, last time we had an echo. Let's see if that's the case now. Also, I'm at another Costa, but the Wi-Fi sucks here. And I'm off my mobile, and I see nothing happening here. It says I'm 4 seconds behind. You guys are about 30 seconds behind me, so let's see how it sounds. My mobile, and I see nothing happening here. It says I'm 4 seconds behind me. Okay, well, that looks like it's working good. All right, so welcome back to the program, folks. We're going to start it off with Over the Target. If you guys like this, let me know. Once again, as I said, I'm at a Costa here in England, and I put the microphone on so you can hear me.
Over the target, I'm flying blind. They're taking aim from every side. Left and right, they throw their fire. Keyboard heroes full of iron.
Keyboard heroes full of iron.
Their words are bullets made of air. Hit and vanish like they're not there. Cowards in the dark, hiding in the sparks. Shadows in their heart. I'm over the target. I'm over the target. Type and fury in their little rooms, safe from the echo of their own booms. No medals earned, no battles fall, just hollow noise and angry thoughts. Real soldiers bleed, real soldiers fall. These ghosts of glass, they've risked it all. Click and clatter, to shout and scream, but courage doesn't live in me. Cowards in the dark, hiding in the sparks. Shadows in their heart. I'm over the target. I'm over the target. I'm over the target.
I'm over the target, cowards in the dark. Courage doesn't come in means. No medals, just clicks and claps. Keyboard warriors, shadows in the dark.
Cowards in the dark, hiding in the sparks. Shadows in their heart. I'm over the target. I'm over the target. I'm over the target.
Striking fear in the hearts of keyboard warriors. All right, folks, welcome back. Over the target. Striking fear into the hearts of keyboard warriors. Clickety-clack. Shadows in the dark. Yep, no, I've been getting attacked from left and right, and so that song was inspired by that. I haven't loaded it up yet onto Spotify, but it will be getting up there. I haven't checked Spotify. Last time I looked in Spotify, I'd lost some viewers. It was kind of depressing. I'd gone from about 12 or 1,300 down to 874, and don't know what happened there. It's some fickle people there, but people say they like the music. So anyway, welcome back to the program, folks. Chris live in England, merry old England, which is not very English. It's a lot of other things. I went shopping, first time I've gone shopping since I've been here, because the British and Irish Lions tour is over, and now the kit is marked down by about 50% or so. Yeah, so I've got myself a kick. You guys hearing okay? Let me just see how that sounds real quick here. If you're still hearing okay. Once this thing gives me a live feed here. Come on, come on, come on. Today be good. If you're still hearing okay. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, so the microphone's working. I don't know what the problem was the other day. But I did get some, by the way, we got the sippy cup going again here from Costa. And this Costa, the Wi-Fi isn't working, but it's open 24 hours, so I could sit here in the middle of the night if I can't sleep. Of course, I'd have to drive back to the place. But anyway, so point is, they're open 24 hours. Yeah, sounds very good. Thank you very much for that. And, of course, I'm not alone. As always, my trusty friend Peter Rabbit is with me here from Windermere. Beatrix Potter's Peter Rabbit has joined me once again. Says hello. Anyway, no bugger off bunny with me, though. But anyway, is anybody curious about the haul? I did get a couple items. And I only bought because they were on sale. I got them marked down tremendously. The more they attack, the more determined he gets. That's right, Krista von Arda. The leftists hate wankers, the rightists hate wankers, keep attacking, and I just keep standing. Because they're all cowards. They never served in combat, never served and defended their country. Not real heroes, just keyboard warriors. Anyway, sound is super. It is. I thought it sounded pretty good. Does Costa sell guava and pata? I have no idea, Chris Ehlers. I don't eat guava, so I have no idea. I don't know what patash is. Hey, who else we got there in the chat? So, love the Peter Rabbit. Thank you for that, Elmarie. So, I've done a few videos. I did one today because I was contacted by somebody who was a little concerned about the refugee process. This isn't a refugee stream. We're going to talk news. Relax. Take a deep breath, folks. The news is coming up in just a few moments. I see the audience gets smaller the longer we do this. Anyway, we do have some news. We're going to talk about the South African Human Rights Commission, Capture Commission taking Gate McKenzie to court over his K-word tweets from years ago. This shows you the hypocrisy. Everybody knew he did it, but now that he's somebody and they got pressure from nobodies, they are going to go after Gate McKenzie. Look, I'm not defending Gate McKenzie, but I do defend free speech. As long as it doesn't incite violence, you know, people have a right to free speech, and I will defend that to the death. That's what I did in uniform. I defended those basic natural rights, as John Locke would describe them. Something lost on many of today's uneducated, illiterate losers who are 30% crowd. But anyway, so we're going to talk about Gate McKenzie. We're going to talk about Kronstadt and the farmers with the buried farm attacker and how the EFF is absolutely losing its mind over a dead and buried farm attacker. Unfortunately, the farmers aren't very bright. They include one of their farm workers in on the scheme to bury the guy. You should have just buried him if you're going to commit a crime. Don't add accomplices who can crack under pressure. Not very smart. Obviously, not something intentional. As far as whether the shooting was legitimate, I have no idea. It may have very well been in self-defense. I don't know. Going to talk about that as well. Also going to talk a little bit probably about, gosh, that truck is very loud going by. Super drug. Not too far from a shopping center, and there's a lot of traffic here. It's rush hour. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Operation Mosi 3. I was interviewed today by Biz News' Chris Sten to talk about that. We talked about Operation Mosi 3. We talked about the Rudzani Banyua going to Iran. And we also talked about the MTN scandal and Nkabisi Jonas. So Biz News should be putting that out. I don't know when. Today, hopefully. I don't know, maybe a little bit later. But we talked about that. Let me say hello to everybody in the chat very quickly before we get into the news. So Fonz is here. Fonz excited because the Sharks managed to pull one out against the Cavaliers, which is disappointing for Bolin fans. Werner Durant is back again. Vilma Rasmus, Pickle, Gabrielle Stoltz, Debbie Fox, excuse me, Debbie. It's hard to see the screen. I had to turn down the brightness a little bit there. Chris Ehlers, Legion, Vilma Rasmus, Sandra Young, Husky 7 is back. Werner says, what's up? Virtual Western Cape, Tuns Kutsa, Lucy, is it Zeely? Welcome, Lucy. Antoinette, Daniel Whitfield's back. Doretta Fundamava, Erica, one of the OGs. There she is. Erica, how's it going? Erica, are you getting better, or are you just kind of stuck in that grind with your recovery? Sorry, sippy cup, 2 hands. It does take 2 hands for the sippy cup. I'm on time for a change, says Krista. Well, I'm the one that's on time. I'm actually just 15 minutes late, but that's because I had the hardest time finding W.H. Smith. W.H. Smith is gone, ladies and gentlemen. It's gone. A bookseller in business since 1792, and they've been bought out, and they're changing their name to T.G. Jones. T.G. Jones. I mean, you could have done something more creative like Indiana Jones. T.G. Jones, at least in the high street. Apparently on the highways, it's still going to be W.H. Smith. That's very disappointing. I've been buying books and magazines from them for 33 years. And I went looking for them in the mall, and they're listed on the screen, but they're not in the place they used to be. They moved. Wow, 700 Rand. Oh, so it's already on Biz News. Thank you, Debbie. 700 Rand. Thank you for that. That's awesome. Wow. Cool beans. Thank you so much for that, Debbie. I do appreciate that. That's awesome. There you go. Super chat. So Peter Rabbit says, oh, bring him on. 700 Rand. That's pretty cool. Anyway, so yeah. Vernon says, good to see you, Colonel. Something tells me Chris Wyatt will be starting a Costa franchise. Not likely, Napoleon. I don't really care for it. Yeah, you like that song? Yep, Over the Target. That's the second version. We got the first version, too. 246 people currently here. 119 likes. Somebody is sitting on their bum, not pushing the like button. By the way, my hip isn't really bothering me today, guys. Yeah, consider that a victory. It hurt a little bit, but I've been taking smaller steps, shorter steps. And, yeah, it hasn't bothered me too much. So that's good news. But I've also been taking it easy. So, yeah. Anyway, cool beans. Amanda Lowe, welcome to you. Reno Vot, Chris Sten. That's a different Chris Sten. Husky, and Sloth Puppy's back. There's an OG. Sloth Puppy's been around forever. Why did South Africa invite Iran as well? Why not just invite Iran, North Korea? Yeah, just get them all in the mix, and then we can just send one carrier strike group and take them all out at once. Wouldn't that be? It wouldn't be hard. I mean, the South Africans would be able to manage one German frigate. That's it. No submarines and one supply ship, the SS Drakensberg. That's it. That's it. Yeah, the witch hunt. I got that. I'm going to go after. I'm going to tell that story. I'll make a video on that tonight about the witch hunt for the whistleblowers. Yep. Looks like there's a lot on your mind today. Oh, Kathy Martin, there is a lot of stuff on my mind today. Quite a bit. And there usually is, but we don't always have time for it. Especially when I try to interact with my audience, which is more than most content creators do. That's not a positive. That's not a negative. That's just a statement of fact. Some people have been asking me to talk slower. Maybe I should do that. These glasses. I like these a lot better than the other ones. Gemini, welcome to you. Gemini Cricket. It's Ruby Rod. Corbin Dallas. Corbin. What was it like? Were you nervous in the service, Corbin Dallas? No. Corbin. Gemini Cricket. Now, who knows that? Who knows that? That, of course, is The Fifth Element. One of my favorite Bruce Willis movies. Fantastic. Over the target. Yeah. Oh, you guys are over the target of being hot full, says Antoinette. Yep. Gemini Cricket. Have you faced real enemies? These keyboard warriors aren't worth your time. No, but Lynette, it's fun to make. It's a blast making fun of them. I don't speak slow. My mind works too fast for slow speakers. Thank you very much, Kathy. I am also on adrenaline there. Yeah, that's right, Lynette. When you faced real danger, these keyboard warriors are nothing but a walk in the park. But they are funny. Attack. Hey, how's it going, Chris Ehlers? To see you again there. All right, so Lynette, Art Queen Liza, Chris Ehlers, Fonz is back, Daniel Whitfield. Who else we got there? Got a door here that's tricking people because it says automatic, but it doesn't open automatically. You have to push the button, so it tricks people. Anyway, Sandra Yonka's there, or Robert Herba. Pearl Vitboy is back. Hey, Pearl. How's it going? You know, I tried to interview one of the descendants of the Vit Boys in Namibia that went up there. And I had some success. He's like a disc jockey now in Cape Town. We were in touch, but then he just kind of disappeared on me. I really wanted to do the interview. I think all the Vit Boys are kind of related. It's all stems from one original surname and family. And like 90% of them are colored, are they not? Or Busters, Rehoboth Busters. And then Marcel Bacchus, welcome to you. Joan Stewart, hello. Not merry old England as it was by coverage we do get from Lotus Eaters. What do you mean by that, Joan? The Lotus Eaters are interesting. I've never been able to. Hey, there's a 199 Rand super chat from DT. Thank you for that. Thanks for every piece of news. You're very welcome for that. It's my pleasure. Thank you for that. And once again, Peter Rabbit says, thank you very much. All right. Okay, I was there already. So somehow I wound up back in the chat. And then, what's that? Did I miss something? Oh, that's the 700 Rand from Debbie Fox. And she liked the interview on Biz News. Thank you for that. That was earlier today. That was as I was about to head out. Otherwise, I would have been here early and we would have done an early stream and still be going. Derek Bolta, we appreciate your program and support. Looking forward to your next part. Well, thank you very much, Derek. I appreciate it. It's always difficult to judge because the numbers don't reflect the number of people watching. So, by the way, when I was at the Springboks game, the Lady Box, they qualified for the quarterfinals. First time in the history of South Africa. They make the quarterfinals in the World Cup. The ladies did. They really fought hard against the Italians. Made a lot of mistakes, a lot of ball handling errors, but they still, when they needed to, they came through and won that game. And those forwards, my goodness, that front row, that back, they are just, man, they're bowling pins. They just bowling balls. They knock the pins over. But they earned that win, and they're into the quarterfinals. Now, I don't know which quarterfinal. My last two games are quarterfinal number 1 and quarterfinal number 3 in Exeter, and I'm hoping that South Africa and USA are in those two games. It would be really exciting to see that in Exeter. But I think the other two are, where are the other two at? I can't remember. There's 2 other quarterfinals, but South Africa's in the quarterfinals. U.S. still has a chance, but they've got to win big over Samoa, and England's got to beat Australia big and not give up a bonus point for tries. And then the Americans have a chance. So we'll see what happens. It's a shame the Americans couldn't score 4 tries in the first game. Then they would only have to rely on the point differential. Looks like it wants to rain now. I'm under the edge here, so I might have to slide over a little bit there. But yeah, smash the like button, folks. Hawks defend investigation of Nkunu's complaint against Taylor as crime against the state and other threatening. Yeah, I know, exactly. That is, once again, censorship. It's a violation of South Africa's constitution. It's not a crime against the state to call Senzo Mkunu names. He's a public figure. Khasigi, I just played music. Thank you for the 70 Rand super chat. Appreciate that. I just played music at the beginning. South African women rugby team was the first female team in history to be at 127 carries at the. Are you serious? Wow, that's a lot of carries. I didn't realize that, Esmari. But they definitely had a lot of phases, and they turned the ball over. A lot of phases turned the ball over, but they scored when they had to. The Bucks were amazing. And I was there. I was there to see history. I was there for their first game against Brazil. And then I was there when they beat Italy, first time they ever beat them. And then Golda Kruger, thank you for your membership. Thank you very much for your membership. Esmari, Elmarie Swart, thank you for your membership. Very welcome. Maggie Groves, the interview on business and your report of brainless EFF. What a joke. Rambles, Ramposa, sinking this ship very fast. Yep. Whitfield's, from what I gather, came from the 1820 settler, Miss Charlotte Whitfield. Now there's thousands of you. Okay. All right. Golda Kruger. All right, I'm caught up. You are going to tell us something about the refugees. Oh, yeah, the refugees. Okay, the video I made earlier. Thank you. I got a little distracted there. Sorry, guys, because I got stuff going on all around me. I'm trying not to piss people off, because it's England. People's feelings get hurt, bruised so easily here. They really do. So, I mean, so many people, not all, most English are pretty cool and well-reserved and respectful, but there's plenty of very rude people here, and they're incredibly rude, like the one sitting in the hotel the other night. But you say something, and they don't like it because your accent, and some of these people just get pissed off, so I'm trying not to piss people off. Mine also works fast in the words from my mouth. A weird concoction of words sometimes leaves a person I'm talking to with a huh. Okay, Ingrid, so let's talk about the refugee thing. So I had refugee aspirant contact me and said they were concerned about a number of things. One of the things they were concerned about was if they come to the States and they move from where the U.S. government puts them, they're going to lose their benefits. And I said, no. You guys got to stop conflating the two things. A lot of refugee aspirants are confusing benefits with services. The U.S. government spends $2.7 to $2.9 billion per year. We're talking, folks, 30 to 50 billion rand per year to pay third parties, non-government organizations, often church groups, which finance their operations and give them lots of heft, influence, and they become their little empires by getting hundreds of millions of dollars from the U.S. government to resettle refugees. And they claim it's because it's out of the goodness of their heart or their faith, but that's BS. They do it because they get cash. That's why they do it. If they didn't get cash from this government, most of them wouldn't be doing it. So the resettle refugees, we pay them to do that. They provide services. The services they provide include helping translate your curriculum vitae into a working resume to get a job, registering for job services in localities, helping you apply for and get your Social Security card, showing you public transport, explaining public transport to you, also helping people learn the mores, the values, the norms, cultural affinity, cultural, acculturation is the word I'm looking for. That's the verb. All of that comes in this to help people be successful immigrants. Now, bear in mind that most people coming to America are coming from broke-ass countries that don't speak English. Somalia, the DRC, Yemen, Afghanistan, Myanmar. These people don't speak English. They're not Anglo-Saxon. They're not European origin. They don't have the same values, mores, and norms that most people in America have. And therefore, they find it a little bit hard to fit in when they arrive, even if they're aspiring to fit in. So as a consequence, we pay non-government organizations billions of dollars per year to resettle these refugees. And as I said, the number any given year goes anywhere from 40,000 to 150,000 in a normal year. That's been the historical norm for refugees coming into America. So a lot of South African refugee aspirants are now confusing those services with benefits. Benefits are regulated by law, things that you're given. Refugee cash assistance. So by law, I think it's 3 years you're supposed to get that, but we've never funded at that level. So in the recent past, most refugees at most get 7 months of refugee cash assistance, which isn't very much money. I'll get to your super chat there. Hi, you for responding to my email. I appreciate it. I've sent your reply. Thank you, Johan. Thank you for the 35 Rand super chat. So refugee cash assistance is a short-term, money in your pocket sort of thing. And then you're also given medical insurance for a year, which is, I don't even get that free. I have to pay for medical insurance. And I'm a 36-year combat veteran, and I have to pay, even though I'm disabled under the from the Veterans Administration. I still have to pay for medical care. It's a joke. Anyway, so you get that for a year. Those are benefits. It doesn't matter if you are sent to Buffalo like Charles was, Charles Kleinhaus. He goes to Buffalo, and he doesn't want to stay in freezing Buffalo. And I understand that. I wouldn't want to stay there. I just stay long enough to see Niagara Falls, take a few pictures, and then move on, which he did. He went to, I don't know if he saw Niagara Falls, but he went to South Dakota, where he had a job offer as a farm manager. So I don't blame him. But he lost his refugee case officer in Buffalo, New York. They're not going to help you when you're halfway across the continent. So you can lose the services that aren't available to you because you moved to a place where there's no refugee assistance. That's what we're talking about. But you do not lose Medicaid. You do not lose refugee cash assistance. Those things still happen. You're still entitled to those things, which is funny. I don't get them. I pay taxes so that you get them. Anyway, so we need to be clear about that because people are conflating a lot of things because they don't understand refugee resettlement. And the worst offenders in this, of course, are the corrupt South African media who just lie to everybody. Thank you for honesty. You're the only one who gives the news truthfully. We in South Africans appreciate it very much and just ignore all the haters. Well, thank you, Maggie. But you know what? I was doing better than Morning Shot and Ronaldo and Citizen Concern. I was outpacing all those channels just a couple months ago, and now my channel has dropped back. I'm doing worse than Morning Shot, still better than Citizen's Concern, and I think I'm still ahead of Ronaldo, but not by much. I might even fall behind him. So the excitement has died down a bit, so I'm glad that all of you are still here. Thank you to 388 people currently watching, but some of you are squatting. You are squatting on land illegally. This is not about expropriation without compensation. In order to possess this terrain, you must push the like button. Or the dislike button, if you must, if you feel so compelled, push one of those. People really have to educate themselves on what specific words and terms. Exactly. We still have media lying about the refugee program. Well, these people are being Afrikaner farmers are getting asylum in America. Nope. Nobody's getting asylum. Virtually every asylum case is turned down because most asylum seekers are fraudulent. Just like here in the UK, most asylum seekers are frauds, and therefore most cases are denied. It's refugee status. In-country refugee status. And it's not for Afrikaners and it's not for farmers. But they still conflate asylum and refugee status. Two completely different things. And somebody's calling me, so I'm going to have to deny that phone call. All right. It's an 800 number, so who knows what that was. All right. Hello, Chris. Can you please make a video of refugee places with help? What does that mean, Elza Hammond? What do you mean, refugee places? I don't understand. Refugees live everywhere in America except Hawaii, unless they move there on their own accord. It's too expensive for people in Hawaii, so we don't send people there. Yes, Online Optics. I'm in the UK. I'm in England. I've been here for the Women's Rugby World Cup for a couple weeks. And I watched the historic Lady Springboks qualifying for the quarterfinals. I was there at York. What an incredible weekend at York, folks. I'm telling you, the Americans and the Wallaroos, the Eagles and Wallaroos, 31-31 draw. I mean, I've never been so excited about a draw in my life. It was unbelievable. What a contest. It came down to the Wallaroos scoring and then an easy conversion. But bear in mind, it was raining, misty, slight wind. And Sarah Hammond, I think her name is, she hit the post and missed the conversion, which resulted in a 31-31 draw. And that was the game of the match. And some argue the best Women's Rugby World Cup game ever. And I would be hard-pressed to argue with that statement because it's the best one I've ever seen. It's my third Women's World Cup. It was amazing. And then the next day, South Africa and Italy followed it up in York with another amazing game where the South Africans won 29-24. It was, what a weekend, folks. I'm telling you. And I was there. It's pretty cool. So I've been to the largest ever attended Rugby World Cup game, which was at Twickenham. We had 82,000 for Ireland and Romania in 2015. Now, there have been larger crowds like at Soldier Field for a rugby match, but never in a World Cup. That's the largest one, 2015. I was there. Romania, and Ireland. Ireland, of course, cleaned up. And then I've now been at the largest ever women's Rugby World Cup game, which was the opening game in Sunderland, where the Red Roses destroyed the Eagles. Woo, 69-7. It was pretty ugly. But that game is going to be eclipsed, so I will no longer be able to claim that. But I will be able to claim the largest ever opening game for women. Because apparently Twickenham has sold 82,000 tickets for the women's final a few weeks from now. So, man, it's just been epic. All right, so we're caught back up now. To support you, Colonel. You have done so much for us. Continue to set things straight. I'm extremely grateful. You're very welcome, Candace. But my honesty makes me a target for hate wankers on the right and hate wankers on the left. Some clown actually called me a communist and a Mossad agent. I'm still laughing about that. A communist. I spent my entire adult life fighting communism, standing on the inner German border, defending freedom, protecting Western Europe and civilization against communism, and hunting communists down in Africa. And this guy called me a communist. But the one that was the most interesting is I was called a Mossad agent. So, I mean, I wish these clowns would make up their mind. Do I work for the CIA? Do I work for Mossad? Or do I work for MI6? Or maybe I work for the FSB? Which one of these intelligence agencies do I supposedly work for? Look, Bill Engvall said it well, folks. Stupid people should wear signs. That way you wouldn't ask them questions. Hey, look, I'm sorry. I didn't see your sign. Here's your sign. Stupid people, folks. A lot of them out there. The world is full of dumb people. Most asylum applications UK are accepted and appeal by way around 76 success rate of current. Okay, maybe I misspoke there. What did I say? This says that 48% of claims. So I said most. I'm correct. You're wrong. Sorry. Yeah, there was a peak in 2022 of 77%, but the rate is just under half, 48% of asylum cases. So most are still fraudulent. They're fake. So it was at 77%. That was a couple years ago. We're back to a lower rate now. And besides, asylum isn't even the issue. It's not the asylum. Asylum is a small number. There's like 30,000 people waiting for asylum. We've got millions of fake asylum seekers in America. You've just got a few tens of thousands. It's illegal immigrants that's the issue. That's the issue. And boy, I'll tell you what, I have never seen a surge in patriotism in 35 years of coming to the UK that I've seen this time. I mean, the St. George's flag, the flag of England is flying everywhere. Everywhere. I've never seen that. Also, the Union Jack is flying, although people being arrested for it. I did see where that lady got arrested for going to council building, but you know, before freaking out over that, my question was she trespassing? She may have been detained for trespassing, not for displaying the Union Jack. So I don't know. I don't have the facts on that, so I'm not going to jump to conclusions like a lot of people on Twitter did. You got to be careful, folks. You can't just jump to conclusions when you deal with these things. I feel like people throw insults around without knowing that. Yeah, they do. Chris, if it wasn't for you, we would not be sitting in a position where you have touched our family in a way no one can comprehend. Well, thank you, Ian. That's very kind of you. Wild Mountain is a KFC agent. Well, you should do well in South Africa. People love KFC. And chicken licking, too. Personally, I don't care for chicken licking. There would be a shortage of signs. I think so. People want to know the truth, but not everyone can handle the truth. They just want to argue about everything. You're right about that. Is it ML Cortana? How can we get answers to red questions? What is a red question? Is that different than a blue question? Hank, how you doing? For all this time of hearing and being explained what the terms refugee, asylum, immigration mean and what differences are, how the heck do they still get? Well, because it's intentional, Ingrid. People are either lazy or stupid or they're malicious. Much of what you hear from the press is malicious. They're intentionally lying about refugee status and asylum. I saw some artificial intelligence generated video that somebody sent me last of a black South African voice saying that the refugees that have gone to America have been suffering. The grass isn't greener. It's all just BS. It was all nonsense. Oops, got some people meeting out here. Pretty cool. All right. Yeah, I didn't forget the CIA agent. I said that. Where's your regular waiter? I don't go to the same place, guys. I don't have a regular waiter. But yeah, Jay, you're mistaken, my friend. It's 48%. That's the majority that aren't accepted. 52% aren't accepted. All right. Secret agent man, stop agency hopping. Yes, I know, Hendo. I can't make up my mind. Is it Mossad? Is it FSB? Is it the CIA? Is it MI5, MI6? It's so confusing. Or maybe it's the Bundesgrenzschutz. No. No, it's Bundesnachrichtendienst. That's the one, the German intelligence service. Yep. I'm like 007. Bond. James Bond. Shaken and not stirred. Sean Connery. Gosh, man, all these people are dead. Bob Newhart, Sean Connery. Wow, just it's crazy. Betty White, I thought she lived to be 1,000. Okay, what have I missed here? Pretty sure it was a private property, Chris. Yes, that's what I thought when I saw it. What's that on optics? UK has gotten very weak and their illustrious history is in danger of being wiped out one generation. Oh yeah, it's being wiped out one generation. Yes, secret agent man of mystery. Well, thinking about it, how could one tell if someone worked for the CIA? Well, if they admit it, for number one, I work for the AWB. Is that right? Well, apparently some people in the AWB don't like me, so that's kind of hard. That's kind of hard to do that. So she got charged trespass. Aha, Alan. See, that's what I said. See, people are freaking out saying she got arrested for showing the Union Jack. That's not what she got arrested for. My presumption was that she was trespassing, and that's what they got her for. Yep. But people try to stir things up and try to claim that, look, I have no doubt that the government is acting in malicious behavior here towards its citizens, but British citizens. But you got to be right. Okay, he says, fair enough. Wasn't calling you out. The numbers have been hearing. No, Jay, it's okay. It's okay. I'm just trying to say that I don't just make this stuff up, man. That was my point. Thank you, Jay. And I'm not trying to call you out. I'm just trying to make the point that I don't just make this stuff up. Sometimes I embellish, and if I embellish, I make a point of telling you I'm embellishing because I like to embellish when I tell stories. And the embellishing makes the story more interesting. Pretty sure it was private property, Chris. Yep. Okay, what else? Anna Kruger gave a gift membership to ML Cortana. Look at that. Jacques, welcome back to you. Rex is human. Joker's falling off horses. That's messed up. Paul Vian, Alan Balade, Ruben Tilbilly, Tanya Goals, and Fabian Bridger, thank you for your membership. Light Rain, Chris is a secret agent at AG, the Dutch Reformed Church. Yeah, that's right. I'm prophesizing. That's what I'm doing. All right, let's get back to the news, folks. Top stories here. Here we go. Today's top story. The EFF calls for the arrest of the Free State doctor who allegedly killed a farm dweller. They marched on his business practice and saying, kill the boar. Now, these people are vile, repulsive people. They don't get the irony of complaining about someone they think was murdered illegitimately. For all we know, it was self-defense. We don't know the facts of this case. They go there outside this doctor's house, who's not even accused of being the person who did it, and then they sing, kill the boar. Where were you? Where were you? Shoot the farmer. Shoot. It's unbelievable. These people are sick. They're twisted. They are evil. And they've been found guilty of hate speech. Yet they still get out there and act the same way. So yeah, this story is the EFF in the Free State has called for the arrest of the Kronstadt doctor and his grandson, who they claim killed a farm dweller. But it wasn't a farm dweller. It was a farm attacker. The farm was attacked. It was self-defense. At least that's what we've been told. But then they made the mistake of burying the body and including a farm worker in it. You should never, if you're going to commit a crime, include accomplices who can break down under interrogation. Not smart. See, if they did do it and they did commit a murder, stupid people, criminals aren't very bright. Just saying. I'm not saying they're criminals. I'm just saying it's not very smart. The party's provincial secretary, Bosanku, what kind of name is that? Musamanga, says they want the grandson to be arrested and charged with murder, while the doctor should be arrested for attempted murder and defeating against justice by concealing the body. The grandfather foolishly made the point of saying that, yes, he did bury the body so the jackals wouldn't eat it. He should just kept his mouth shut. He's probably convicted himself of at least one offense, but not murder. So they're demanding answers. But they didn't go to the farm when the farmer was shot by farm attackers previously and demand, solidarity with the farmer, because they're just evil black supremacists. That's what they are. They don't care about the farmers. They're creating racial strife. That's what their mission is. It's not about uniting South Africa. It's not about improving the lot of black South Africans. It's about destroying white people. That is the purpose of the EFF. That's their goal. That's all they talk about. That's all they talk about. It's just evil. Probably the UK is overall net migration. People freak out over asylums, but they can't. Yeah, no, most of it's the migration, and much of that's illegal. I've seen the illegals come here, and I've seen the television programs where they're granted, luxury homes, and other people paying a fortune. Yep. Comes to over-reliance on cheap labor. That's the bottom line. The over-reliance on cheap labor and the overpricing of goods. Okay, so you ready for the haul? You guys want to see the haul? Give me a thumbs up if you want to see the haul. Vincent says, I live in Kronstadt, and what happened is everybody's guessed, nothing official yet. Exactly. That's why it calls out for an inquest. That's what I said. There needs to be an investigation. not the EFF toy toy. And by the way, Newsroom Africa, what a bunch of scumbags and absolute scumbags. Well, we weren't trespassing. Yes, you were. The man's property starts at the road, not at the gate. The gate is several meters in on the property. And you were in his face, sticking microphones in the face, demanding answers you have no right to know. Idiots, just scumbags is what they are. You know, and I've given Newsroom Africa credit when they've done good reporting, like on the Phoenix March and on the EFF March for the Stalin jab. That's what I call it. Anyway. Yep. So there was Paul says that farmer only took EFF's advice. Shoot to kill. Yeah. Oh, that's got to be the best super chat of the day. 35 Rand. You got that one for cheap, Paul. That farmer only took EFF's advice. Shoot to kill. Yes, Charles, it's a black supremacy agenda. You're wrong, Derek Boat. The Constitution says self-defense is allowed in South Africa. Yep, that's the law. Now, in practical terms, you're correct. They don't allow it. They go after people. There's a band called Sick Puppies. They're deranged, yep. Okay, the doctor might have thought, well, the police never comes. Yeah, well, also, if they do come, they'll charge him with murder for self-defense, you know? And then you got to prove you're innocent. And that isn't easy. It's hard to feel bad about what's happening in the UK. Wild Mountains, I don't feel bad at all. I'm just saying, look, I went to a shopping mall, a massive shopping mall here in the Midlands, and 40% of the people are not English. And 15% of the people, you can't see the women's faces completely wrapped up. And we're talking people from all over the world that are here that aren't English. So, yeah, they've done it themselves. It's hard, yeah, not to mention what they did to my ass. Okay, well, Wild Mountains, that's a whole other story. Problem is their default setting is to shoot with. Exactly. Only country where you're treated as guilty. Exactly. It's just ass backwards. You're innocent until proven guilty, except in South Africa where you're guilty until proven innocent. It's ridiculous. And SAPS is useless. They won't respond. So why call them? And I think he was right to keep the body from being eaten by jackals, but he should have probably reported to the police. If they don't come, they don't come. Hey, Bluebird, what's going on? Elise Dickens. Okay, so you guys don't want to see my haul? Okay, here's the first one. British and Irish Lions. It's the Australia round. Pretty cool, huh? Anyway, so there you go. So that's a nice top, long sleeve. Got that one. Alrighty, and then the jersey. Nice jersey there. So that, and then, all right, don't hate me for this, Springbok fans. Don't hate me. You know I collect rugby kit, okay? So I have one hoodie with me, so I picked up another hoodie, and this was half off. So half off, very soft, very nice. And I know it's a betrayal, but the colors are beautiful, okay? See, 50% off. 50% off. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. All right, so there you go. So that's my haul, folks. Yep, all of that for less than one jersey would have cost. Less than one jersey would have cost at the Women's World Cup. Because the British and Irish Lions series is over. Very uninspiring series, by the way. This iteration of the British and Irish Lions was not impressive. Not impressive. I think the Greek could have beaten them. Anyway, so there you go. Now, if we get cut off, it's because my mobile network. Remember, we had that problem before, so just saying. Oh, Alan says bad excuse, betrayal. Joe Neiman, where the hell have you been? I've been wondering where my pilots are. Arctic is checking in occasionally. You have been AWOL. What, have you been hanging out in the Drakensberg, flying rich people around? Where have you been, Joe? Where has Joe been? I'm not a shopaholic, Garrett. I'm just a rugby enthusiast. Keep the Chinese. Yeah, no, they were made in Vietnam, not China. Sorry, guys. Those are made in Vietnam. Nice jersey to wash the car with. Ooh. Oh, my goodness. That's right. Dan Trend Videos. Exactly. It's nice. It's a beautiful top. It'll keep me warm, and England is not a threat. 100%. Yeah, Lindy says the colors are nice. I would have bought it too. Yep. Yep. Should buy an EFF jacket. Julie said rugby start. He did. I heard that rugby was started by Africans in the Eastern Cape. Yeah. It wasn't William Webb Ellis who decided to pick up the ball and run with it in Rugby, England. Funny how the game is called rugby, and there's a town in England called Rugby, but apparently it was created by Africans in the Eastern Cape, according to EFF. And, you know, there's actually people that believe that nonsense. There's also another sport, I guess that was probably invented in the Eastern Cape too, called badminton. But, you know, there's a town called Badminton, right? In England. Both sports are named after towns in England. Oh, my goodness. And thank you for the super chat. I won't wash my car with it. Varoshka's here. I didn't see that. Okay, good shopper. Okay, well, I try to be. I try to do this. Did you buy that sport? I did get it Sports Direct. You were correct, Online Optics. Sports Direct lowered the price from 80 plus rand down by 50%. Yeah, Africans event. Did Africans event breathing? I didn't know that. Okay. All right, that's correct. Yeah, but they hate us English, it says Ruben. All right, so we've covered the EFF. Now the whistleblower story. Whistleblower witch hunt. State Pensions Agency says investigator to find News 24 sources. The embattled pensions administrator has contacted Nexus Forensic Services to hunt down staff suspected of leaking information about management's alleged irregular conduct to the media. So instead of hunting down the miscreants who stole or misappropriated your pension funds, their response is to hunt down the people that are leaking that information to the media. Wow. Now, look, the people leaking it, the whistleblowers, it is a betrayal of trust, but when the people you work for commit crimes, you have no obligation to loyalty to them. You have no loyalty. It is not a betrayal when the people you work for commit crimes. Reporting them is not a betrayal. Nexus will be paid $261,000 for conducting the investigation through mirror imaging laptops and cell phones to find the culprits. I mean, not the people who gave away $500 million, not the people who stole money left and right, but the people who reported on them. Now, see, if they'd gone to the Hawks, we wouldn't even know about this. But because they went to the media, we do know about it. We know about them. The miscreants are the people running the pension funds, not the people blowing whistles. Wow. The Government Pensions Administration Agency has hired Nexus Forensic Services to hunt down and identify staff accused of leaking confidential information, exposing alleged corruption, costing the agency at least $2 billion in government employees' pension fund. So they have stolen 2 billion rand from your pocket, and their response is to hunt down the people that told the media about it. Not to hunt down the thieves. You know why? Because the thieves are patronage puppies. Time for a sippy cup. Can you believe the conduct of these idiots? This is unbelievable, folks. Shameful. The audit exposés have revealed irregular procurement, possible criminal activity perpetrated by the agency's executive management. So, of course, executive management wants to find out who betrayed them, probably so they can have them eliminated. Why else would you need to know? What are you going to give them charged with a crime for disclosing the fact that you're criminals? Oh, my goodness. So for the people who started taking their pension early, you might have been the smart ones because there won't be anything left because these criminals in South Africa have been stealing your pensions. Simple as that. According to the description of the contract signed by Isaac Upa Malangu of the GPAA's Forensic and Fraud Investigation Department, Nexus will be paid to identify the individuals who remove confidential information without authorization. The 261,000 rand purchase order. By the way, this is probably a secret too. The fact that there's a hunt for whistleblowers is probably a state secret too, and we're finding out about it. So listen, Cockprat 24 is getting it right on this one. When they get it right, I give them credit. They got it right here. Wow. My goodness. The payment will be made from what is left of the funds the employees were trying to protect. Wow. The GPAA was established in 2010 to provide administration service to the pension assets of current and former civil servants managed by the GEPF. No, it wasn't. It was created in 2010 as a patronage project to enrich cadres and to steal from you, South Africans. That was the purpose of it, just like all these other patronage projects. Yep. This week, the GPAA lifted the suspension of a senior finance control manager. It is suspended for declining to authorize a $21 million payment on one of the contracts that had been flagged. So their response to a senior finance control manager who was stopping corruption, who was stopping the theft and pilfering of your pension funds, was to suspend that person. These are evil people that must be rooted out and punished in court. They must pay for their crimes. They must. They must. And credit to Cockprot24 for exposing this fraud. Well, Krista, I warned people about the pensions a long time ago. I mean, a big wad of cash just sitting there in the bank, billions and billions and billions and billions of rand that they can just stick their fingers into and hand out bullshit contracts to companies that don't exist, like the 521 million rand contract to a company that is being delisted, that has no board of directors. They've already paid 41 million rand to. Nothing but rampant corruption here. It's beyond comprehension. Wow. At least one of the suspect employees was named as a senior financial controller who declined to authorize the payment. Wow. During the past 4 weeks, News 24 has published a series of exposés showing that the GPAA's executive team seemingly exposed at least $2 billion in pension assets of current and former civil servants to potential procurement irregularities. The largest was seemingly fictitious $1 billion contract to lease an office building as headquarters for the Shula developers, a company that neither owned nor had access to the building. They gave 1 billion rand contract to a company to lease a building that they didn't own and they didn't rent. And then there was a 500 million when I've talked about for the biometric solutions for LCS Technologies, a non-existent company with no directors, and it's in the process of being delisted. This is epic fraud, folks. The wholesale theft of South Africa is going on in plain sight. And finally, the media are on the scene. Thank goodness. My goodness. So that's where we're at on that. Let me go back and see what's going on in the chat. Not one of them deserves to be public sector, but in jail. Millions have been stolen at projects I managed as a resident engineer. No doubt about that, Derek. And Nexus for being hired to find the whistleblower. Don't they have any integrity? Exactly. Krista, people are still blind to it. Just wondering if my widow's pension is in danger of being taken. It's a widow's pension as my husband died on duty. I hope not, Ingrid. Well, okay. Good day, Caesar Granite. Ignore the lefties. Unless they walk a couple steps in your shoes, they should keep their dream world of no corruption and honest parliament, caring about all citizens themselves. Exactly. Primal Boar, what's up, man? Awkward Leon is back. Ramaphosa launched a G20 panel to address extreme global inequity. Yes, Mr. McDonald's there with R500 million rand is launching a global inequity project. What does he pay? What does he pay the people that work at McDonald's? 16 rand an hour, 23 rand an hour, minimum wage. Is that what he pays the people working at McDonald's? Yet he's worth 200 million US dollars, and he's going to launch a global inequity investigation. Cyril's so full of it, his eyes are brown. Levon Curry says, was late to the chat. Which municipality is being taken over? I didn't see that. Erica's back from supper. I didn't know she left. Which one of these so-called top-notch worldwide recognized papers would provide us with total government manpower cost? Can't deal with this with corruption. Remember, they are consumers, not producers. Exactly. They're just locusts. They're parasites. Parasites. Eating off the hardworking people of South Africa, black, white, and brown. South Africa, Russia, and China will hold a naval exercise off of Africa in November, just in time for the G20 summit. So here's what's going on. As if the relationship between Washington and Pretoria wasn't sour enough, the ANC has decided to hold Operation Mosi 3 in November. They couldn't do it in August. They couldn't do it in December. They're holding it in November. Why? To piss Donald Trump and the Americans off. And so every time that Ronnie Lamola, little Ozzy, gets out there and says, well, we don't understand what the Americans are upset about. We've done nothing to harm America. You know, he's just full of it. He's just lying. South Africa, Russia, and China are set to conduct a joint naval exercise dubbed Mosi 3 off the coast of Africa in November. Now, Defense Web published this story now, but this was released on August 6th, so I don't know why it became news now. But Chris Den wanted to talk to me about it today, and I did the interview with her, talked about it. But everything they're doing is intentionally to piss the Americans off. I mean, there's no effort here. Everything they tell you about having a trade delegation in Washington, and they've sent conditions, that's all a lie. It's all a lie. It's all a lie, folks. And when they say that they don't recognize the refugees, I don't really care. Because South Africa is a sovereign state, they can do what they want to do. But they don't seem to think that we're a sovereign state and we can do what we want to do. Our Immigration and Nationality Act of 1980 governs refugee status. And we can grant in-country refugee status to people who are suffering from racial injustice in the past or have a legitimate fear of future persecution. The fact that the corrupt government of South Africa doesn't accept that definition and they say they accept the UN definition shows me how stupid Ronald Lamola is. Because the definition that we have is from the United Nations protocols, the Convention on Stateless Persons. So he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's just, it's beyond comical. So we have Minister 30%, we have Minister No Brains, and who else have we got there? So Ronald Lamola needs to go, Angie Mocheka needs to go, and that's a good start right there. Kumbudza Nshavina needs to go too, Minister in the Presidency. What's the exercise going to be? South Africa going to be rescued by China. Oh, I know the corruption's in the private sector too. I know that, Steve. I know that. Yep. Well, and the other problem too is that South Africa is not a free market. You have a network of massive conglomerates that really are nothing more than oligarchies. So the banking sector, the retail sector, the fast food sector are all controlled by a small coterie of holding companies. So Bidvest owns everything under the sun, car dealerships, credit cards, banks, businesses. I think they even have mining interest, if I'm not mistaken. Then you've got Edgar's, Edcon owns Edgar's. They used to own C&A. They owned the furniture store. They owned all that stuff. And then you've got Famous Brands, which owns all the not all, but most of the fast food restaurants. So you think that Cape Town Fish Market was unique? No, it's owned by a holding company that created it. Panarotti's owned by a holding company that created it and other brands. The whole thing is it's all massive amounts of money controlling it. So you think you're spreading the money around the economy. It's all going to the hands of a few people. Yep. And a lot of them are caters, despite the lies about white monopoly capital. Yes, the last two naval exercises were a joke. So the South Africans were able to bring one ship to the exercise last time. Yep. JJ Kruger, welcome to you. All right, so that's the exercise coming up. Yep, war games with Russia and China. What a joke. So the South African Navy used to be almost exclusively white with a handful of colors. I'm looking at a photograph of the Navy, not one white South African, not one Indian, not one colored. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 35 sailors marching in front of Ramaphosa and some, the insubordinate general, and not one of them is white, Indian, or colored. Completely wiped off the map. Completely wiped off the map. So they plan to hold exercise with Russia and China at the same time the G20 summit is taking place. This move risks to further deteriorate U.S.-South Africa relations. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, South Africa violated the terms of our status of forces agreement and demanded that we not come to South Africa with weapons. Who deploys their troops abroad without weapons? They're not holiday makers. They're not going to Ibiza. They're going to an exercise and they take their sidearms and their rifles with them. And that is the agreement. But the South African government reneged on that agreement, which we've had for years, to kowtow to the Chinese communists. And therefore, we canceled our participation in exercise. We have an agreement. They reneged on it. South Africa is breaking all its agreements while spreading disinformation about other countries breaking agreements. South Africa reneged on the 1997 agreement they made with Taiwan. Taiwan agreed to rename their office, their liaison office, to a commercial office, but there was no move involved. And Ronald Lamola claims that that agreement in 1997 is the basis for gazetting land in Joburg, forcing Taiwan to take its representative office. Oh, geez, that car is 200 meters away, and I can hear that booming. And move to Joburg. It's an insult to Taiwan, the legitimate government of China. Yeah, the Kuomintang, the legitimate government of China. Chiang Kai-shek's government, not the communists who murdered 30 or 40 million people during the Cultural Revolution. No. And my country is guilty too. My country has fraudulently recognized the Chinese communists as well. So let's move on from that and talk about Gate McKenzie. The captured South African Human Rights Commission is taking him to court over the K tweets. Now, probably because he's colored. But what's going on with Knobs and Kesey? physically assaulting people on a fly-staff air flight, and calling colored women by the most vile stereotypes. What's going on with her? Anything? The South African Human Rights Commission is expected to urgently take Sports, Arts, and Culture Minister Gate McKenzie to court over old tweets in which he used the K word. We've taken a decision to take the minister to court. Well, I want to take the South African Capital Human Rights Commission to court for its failure to take the EFF to court. Now, I know they just got a decision against them, but they failed to do it for 15 years. I mean, calling for the murder of people based on their ethnicity and their race, that harms the dignity of people. Why isn't that something they've taken up? As long as the tweets are still there, we're going to go in court. Okay. So listen to this. Listen to the hypocrisy of the captured South African Human Rights Commission. So in the case of Ronaldo Gous, they went after Ronaldo even though he removed his video 15 years ago. When he was still a young guy, he realized this is the wrong thing. He removed his video. His video wasn't on YouTube. But some scumbag, hate-wanking, leftist, perverted lunatic went and got it from the Wayback Machine. They published it. They violated human dignity, not Ronaldo Gous. And they took him to court and sued him. And they're still suing him, even though he agreed to giving a groveling apology. But here they're saying, as long as the tweets are still there, we're going to go to court on an urgent basis. So if McKenzie removes him, will they drop the case? They didn't drop the case against Ronaldo Gous because they're a race-hustling organization. The captured South African Human Rights Commission is illegitimate. It is immoral. It is race-hustling. It is vile. It's repulsive. And it's a black supremacy commission is what it is. Going after colors, going after Indians, going after whites, and barely going after blacks unless they're nobody of any consequence. So if he takes the tweets down, they won't go after him. They are parasites. They're eating off the people of South Africa, the taxpayers. The tweets were posted by McKenzie between 2011 and 2017. They were unearthed when McKenzie weighed. They weren't unearthed. They were there. What do you mean unearthed? People act like they act like they're freaking, Dr. Livingston. Dr. Livingston, I presume. I'm Morton Stanley. I've been looking for you for months, and here I find you at Victoria Falls, which weren't named yet. They act like they were unearthed. What? Is this an archaeological dig? Someone went on an expedition with Marshall, Will, and Holly on a routine expedition to the land of the lost. Is that what they did? They went, ooh, look what we found. These tweets from 2011 from Gate McKenzie said the K word. Everybody knew he said that stuff. Seriously? What a joke. What a pathetic joke. In August, they said they'd open an investigation after receiving complaints from political parties and individuals over the tweets and alleged xenophobic comments by McKenzie. Okay, let's open an investigation into Herman Mashaba's racist comments for the past year. Mashaba has been saying the vilest things about white South Africans. Attacking people who are born free, blaming them for apartheid, calling them names, calling them racist. Is he going to be taken up by the South African Capital Human Rights Commission? Unbelievable. Is Ronaldo here? What are people talking about there? How many rowboats does Sand have committing exercise? Love the industrial steel. Well, it is industrial steel. It's Costa. Yep. Most of them can't even swim. USA has done more for South African ANC government. Exactly. You're right, Ingrid. We've done more for the people of South Africa than the South African ANC government has done in 33 years. Diana Thompson, Stellenbosch officials recorded saying that white employees must be given a hard time to force them to leave. Ooh, where's that at, Diana? I got to cover that. Scary and concerning part is News 24 may investigate and publish the corruption, but nothing gets done. That's true. Notice the ANC never refute the 140 race laws. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They never refute it. They just claim there aren't any. But they never refute a single one of them because they get called on. Wanted to join. It's a whole lot of them needs to go. We need to start from scratch. Okay. Fikile Mabalula is not a minister. Yep. He's a parliament, not a minister. Love the industrial steel. Derek is a witness to the Stellenbosch. So, guys, I need to know about this. Send me some links. Send me the information so I can do an expose and video on it. So Navy used the subs to look for great whites. I'm waiting for an email and first interview to go, hopefully by the grace of the Lord. It says Donnie Foster, okay? We're doing BE thing. What's this? Worked at a company where this was done. 400 whites constructively retrenched in one so-called restructuring exercise. It was reported to John Steenhuisen and nothing happened. Well, I mean, what do you expect? He's busy, blaming the farmers for the failure of the government of South Africa and selling off their vaccine capability to Botswana. He's blaming the farmers for that. Now, that's not his fault. He wasn't there, but blaming them is his fault. It's raining now, folks. I'm getting drenched here. So Russia and China can bring their weapons, but the U.S. exactly 100% correct. 100% correct, Primal Boar. The Russians and the Chinese will bring their weapons and do a naval exercise and go ashore. But the Americans can't bring theirs for an onshore exercise. Thanks for everything. You're a true journalist, Utopia. Well, thank you very much, Rouge. Appreciate that. I agree. Inhumane Rights Commission. There you go. Hendo. American politics more interested in South Africa, not interested in South Africa, says Ruben. Well, Trump's okay. Rumors of Trump's demise are wildly over-exaggerated. I did have a lot of U.S. stories. The past two broadcasts, I talked mostly about the U.S. I didn't talk much about South Africa. That's why we're focused on South Africa today. I was in the civil service, finance department, saw this coming, left in 2007 for 21st year, couldn't handle the nepotism and deterioration under the rule. Yep, Vincent, you're right. Okay, Wild Mountains. It seems ANC is increasingly antagonistic to our pre-94 allies, Israel and Taiwan. Yep, they are. And the U.S. Ancestral dig. Maybe South Africa maybe will have a ship or sub that is operational. None of the subs are operational. I'm afraid that my life once again, because I have no idea what junk they're spewing about me. Teams that can't say anything. Sadly, one. I don't know what you're talking about, Andy. Who's saying things about you? All right. So what else we got there? So let me get to the U.S. news here, okay, guys? It's New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post, and the Epoch Times. Let's see what we got here. New York Times, Ukraine pursues a weapons buildup more potent than any security guarantee. And Fabian gave a 40 rand, sent your WhatsApp, Estella Bush. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it, Fabian. I'll look into it tonight. Judge says Trump's LA troop deployment was illegal. The judge is full of it. It wasn't illegal. The president has that authority under the Constitution. A federal judge in California said President Trump broke law by deploying 5,000 Marines and National Guard troops in Los Angeles in June in response to immigration protests. Judge said on Tuesday Trump violated the Posse Comitatus Act, which generally prohibits use of military enforced domestic law. That's not what the military did, so this judge is full of malarkey. He's full of malarkey, and it didn't violate the Posse Comitatus law. This is another rogue judge that needs to be reined in. Oh, this is Stephen Breyer's brother. This guy's like 90 years old. Judge Breyer's assessment was blunt. President Trump, he wrote, had exceeded the limits of federal laws that generally prohibit the use of military for domestic law enforcement. He had talked about doing it again. Yeah, no, he didn't. He didn't. And when we take an oath in uniform, it's to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. It's right in the oath. Right in the oath. Posse Comitatus doesn't allow the military to be police officers. They're not. Except on federal property. They're not. And they weren't there. This judge is smoking his socks. Smoking his socks. The administration, he found systemic use of armed soldiers and military vehicles to set up protective perimeters and traffic blockades, engage crowd control, otherwise demonstrate a military presence in and around Los Angeles. And you're allowed to do that. When I served in the Ohio National Guard, we were trained in crowd control and riot control. That's exactly what we did. We carried nightsticks, we carried the shields, we marched in formation on how to deal with crowds. That doesn't violate Posse Comitatus. This judge, we know it, and we know it. It's the latest in a series of judicial battles over claims of expansive unilateral powers by the administration. This will go to the Supreme Court, and this moron will be struck down. Judge Charles Breyer, that's Stephen Breyer's brother, another hate-wanking, self-pleasuring leftist demon rat. Yeah, he is about 1,000 years old and needs to be removed from the bench for his corruption. Trump's LA troop deployment violated the law, says a corrupt judge. And the judge is wrong. Judge is wrong. Trump amps up rhetoric towards Chicago as Democrats prepare for showdown. And by the way, there's no consequences. You can't do anything to Trump. He was executing his oath of office in line with the Constitution. There's nothing they can do. Government shutdowns on the horizon again. Of course. Whoa, those people are speeding. That's a 30 zone, and that car's going a lot faster than 30. Anyway, Department of Justice employee who disrespected National Guard members has been fired. Good. Let's read about that story. It's not surprising. Attorney General Pam Bondi said she fired an employee from the Justice Department for inappropriate conduct towards National Guard service members in D.C. The firing was first reported by New York Post columnist Miranda Devine, who obtained the department memo notifying the employee Elizabeth Baxter of her termination. According to the memo, the removal was effective immediately. Baxter worked as a paralegal in the DOJ's Environmental Defense section. So why is she even talking about the National Guard? Environmental Defense has nothing to do with security. She noted in the memo that if applicable to her situation, she may have a right to file an appeal. Well, that's just standard boilerplate text. Baxter was seen on camera and was described by witnesses as making obscene gestures at National Guard soldiers in Washington. She's also heard making obscene gestures about the Guard Department of Justice security officer on duty in her office building on multiple occasions. And she should be prosecuted, not simply fired. They should recoup her salary for stealing from the American taxpayer while disrespecting our military. These are the scumbags that work in our government bureaucracy. And there are hundreds of thousands of scumbags like this hate wanker, disrespecting our military, disrespecting the Constitution, disrespecting the presidency. This is overdue. Overdue. Another DOJ employee, Sean Dunn, was removed from his position at the department after he was charged with assaulting a Customs and Border Protection agent during federal policing takeover in Washington. So we've got a federal justice employee. And so people wonder why we make the argument that the malicious conduct of the Department of Justice in prosecuting people from January 6th and over prosecuting those people was questionable. We see the sort of people we're dealing with here. These are vile, repulsive human beings who have no respect for law and order. And they work in the Justice Department. Now you can see why people, grandparents in their 70s who walked through the barrier when the police opened up the door and walked to the building, committing a misdemeanor, were treated as felons, as if they were pedos and rapists and murderers by a corrupt Justice Department. Now you see why we consider them so corrupt. Levon is focused on the blue brick. You're killing me. You're killing me. See, I switched to U.S. news and my audience shrank. We have 413, now we have 395. What's going on there? What's going on there? Grand jury declines to indict a woman who threatened Trump. What the hell is this? Why do you need a grand jury to indict her? Natalie Rose was charged with threatening to kill the president. A grand jury declined to indict a woman who threatened President Trump on social media. It's the third time a grand jury recently turned down charges presented by federal prosecutors. No probable cause to indict her. She was arrested and charged in August for a series of posts on Facebook, including one in which she wrote she was willing to sacrificially kill the president. She told Secret Service agents during the interview that she would kill Trump if she had the opportunity. And they didn't indict her. Do you see why the justice system is corrupt? They need to change venues and not have these grand juries in D.C. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. People can threaten the life of the President of the United States. He already had 2 assassination attempts, and the corrupt justice system relies on corrupt people in D.C. Wow. Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. It's sick. It's twisted. Yeah, she threatened the life of the president. She admitted she threatened the life of the president. She did it again in the presence of agents she was interviewed by. She did it dozens of times, and they won't indict her. Do you see when I tell you that the Biden regime was in collusion to allow Trump to be killed? Remember, on the day that Butler occurred, there were twice as many Secret Service agents protecting Dr. Jill Biden in nearby Pittsburgh as there were protecting the former president in Butler. Having performed security details for 40 years, I cannot fathom how any moron would have left that rooftop unguarded, unobserved, and why there was no one in the water tower, unless it was intentional. Not to mention the fact that the Secret Service detail was never informed about credible threats to the president's life 2 weeks prior. The National Counterterrorism Center provided the information about credible threats, not from that lunatic who shot at the president, shot him in the head, but from the Iranians 2 weeks prior. And that detail was never informed of that. And therefore, they didn't request a larger security presence. The Biden regime sought to have a third party take out the president. There's no doubt about it. They can't be that incompetent. I've worked with the Secret Service repeatedly. They've never been that incompetent. You should see how anal they are about protecting the protectees. This doesn't make any sense unless it was intentional, which I argue it was. No one's that incompetent. No one is that incompetent. It is twisted and wrong. I bet you if I had said the same thing about Joe Biden when he's president, I'd be in prison right now. You know, it is scary the level they go to. They would murder a former president. They would allow it to happen. And that's essentially what they did. They allowed it to happen. They are evil. They are twisted. They are sick people. Democrats, EFF, ANC, what's the difference here? Oh, yes, the Secret Service is compromised. It's still compromised. It hasn't been cleaned up on Trump's watch. It is compromised. The Department of Justice is compromised, despite the fact that Pam Bondi is the Attorney General. She has people actively working against her role. We have people in the Defense Department working against the Secretary of Defense. This is what happened in the first Trump administration. The same thing. Oh, here comes the rain, man. Oof, getting soaked here. Let's see if I can move over a little bit here. Oof. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That is not good. That is not good. Yeah, they're actively working against the President of the United States. Yep. It's crazy. It's crazy. They do this. They get away with it. But this is the world we live in. The world is full of corrupt people. Good Lord, why am I getting wet? I'm undercover. The rain is coming sideways. Can you believe this? Actually, I think can I move over there? Is that dry? Let me look. This is still dry. That's still dry. All right, let me move, guys, because it's dry over here, but it's getting soaked where I'm at. I'm not the only one moving out of the rain. Yeah. Too many crickets, man. You guys are still there, right? Oof. Dang. Some cold rain, too. It's not just rain, it's cold rain. I know you guys can hear me because I got the microphone on. I'm going to move back over there. I got a lot of stuff to move, though. I'm going to use this tray. In fact, I will use this tray. Peter Rabbit's getting wet. Got to put him in the bag so he stays dry. It's crazy, man. Rain's coming sideways. Oof, and it's starting to come down harder. I mean, I know it's just water, but still, it's kind of a pain. All right, I'll have to turn down my voice here a little bit because, whoops, that sucks. Hope it didn't break. Oof, man. Look at the lengths I go to bring you content. Whew. My goodness. I think that's all my stuff. My laptop's covered in water now. Appreciate you the time you always take to share this. Well, it's my pleasure. My goodness, the glasses are soaked now. I'm soaked. Peter Rabbit's a little bit wet too. Anyway, so let me get rid of that ashtray because I don't smoke. Put that over there. My battery is already down on my laptop anyway. And I've got to dry this puppy off because these glasses, I've always felt bad for people wearing glasses. Now that I wear them, I feel bad for myself. Yeah, that rain is coming down, folks. And it's weird because I see the sun once again over there and over there, but not overhead. Don't you love it? Okay, so where are we at here? Okay, I got the water off that pretty easily. That's my mobile, but it's not coming off my laptop so well, so I've got to kind of clean it off. There we go. All right. Oh, that's getting wet over there. My goodness. Bring the mouse over here. Out of the rain. The charger. My microphone. Sideways rain, folks. All right, we're back. Thank you for your awesome programs again today. Appreciate. We'll catch up with the programs you made today. Well, thank you very much for that, Andre Mostart. Please, thank you for watching my stuff. Just like in Cape Town, rain on the side of the fence and the other side's nothing. Exactly. It's just like Cape Town, folks. Just like Cape Town. But this is England, you know. What do you expect? If it's not raining, it's not England, right? And now I'm freezing. I'm going to put that hoodie on. I got drenched in about 60 seconds there, folks. It came down pretty quickly on me. So, UK 6 seasons day. You know, when I got to Germany, I told people the first day I arrived at my permanent unit in Germany back in 1984, it rained, it sleeted, it hailed, it snowed, all in the same day. First week of June, snow. I was like, what the heck is going on here? What have I gotten into? It was crazy. Clouds are gathering, clouds are gathering, clouds are gathering. Thunder, thunder. Clouds are gathering, Tata. Clouds are gathering. That was good. Oh, that's a good one. Thanks for reminding me of that. Clouds are gathering. Thunder, thunder. Oh, Lana loves my easy style, man. Clouds are gathering. We're never going to forget that one, folks. That is so funny. Clouds are gathering. Clouds are gathering. You got to put a big silly face on them. Ah, clouds are gathering. Clouds are gathering. Thunder. Thunder. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's one thing to do that with children around, but it's another thing to do that international conference. My goodness. Shampur Dumaboka was freaked out by that woman. The president of Botswana, was like, what the hell's going on here? I could see it in his face, man. He's like, what? Goodness gracious, what have I gotten involved with here? These people are wackadoodles. No doubt about it, man. That was the best one so far in 2025. Clouds are gathering. That was brilliant. Rather have rain and cold before this South African heat. We'll never forget the clouds are in my folk lace. Boom, she hit the post. I mean, look, the entire field, there's nothing to hit, and she hits the post. Yeah, you know, they made a movie about that now. It's coming out now. That's funny, and I interviewed her. By the way, Johan Isil should be coming out of the hospital today for those who are interested. I was in touch with Giselle. His health has improved. He was off the ventilator, and she may have taken him home today. I haven't looked to see the latest. It's on here. Actually, I think I have turned a WhatsApp over here. Let me see if she wrote back to me here. She did write back to me. Oops, my mouse is not working. Okay. Why not? Things are locked up there. Okay, I have to close my WhatsApp. WhatsApp, there it goes. Okay, yeah, my WhatsApp was frozen, but yeah, she contacted me back, so hopefully he's out of the hospital. Yeah, well, happy for Johan. Johan was like near death, folks. It was not good looking. He was non-responsive. He doesn't even remember the day. Giselle told me he doesn't even remember what happened, other than she was screaming in the hospital to get him treatment. So, yeah. And there's 35 Rand from Chile. Thank you for going to so much trouble to bring us the news and some fun and laughter. No, we all need laughter, and we all need a little bit of fun. Thank you for the 35 Rand. Thank you. Clouds are gathering. 35 Rand. Clouds are gathering. Super chats are coming. Super chats are coming. No, I don't know that song by Rodriguez. Super chats are coming. Super chats are coming. Oh, dear God. Oh. Okay, back to the sippy cup, folks. Oh, clouds are gathering. Tata, tata, clouds are gathering. Thunder, thunder. Yeah, clowns are gathering. That's right. Oh, great. Now somebody's smoking here. That was perfect for an hour, but I don't know how long I can last. Anyway, mouse is under the weather. Yeah, the mouth is under weather. I think it's. I think it was actually WhatsApp was under the weather, not the mouse. You're gonna have to watch it again. Man, my screen is soaked. I can see like 100 little things on it there. Let me try to see if I can get Giselle again. Okay. Okay, Giselle. Okay. There we go. Come on. All right, let's see what she says.
They ran a lot of tests on him, but
okay, I'm not going to play that. That doesn't sound good. Sorry about that, folks. I thought we had good news, so I'll hold off on that for now. I'll listen to it later on. I'll give you an update on Johan Isil. Tenders are coming. That's the bottom line there. Corrupt tenders are coming. God bless. Yeah, now I know why I hate cigarettes. Oof. All right. No, I don't know that song. My chat's frozen up over there too. Steve Hofmeyer is bringing out a new album. I have it. I have his stick, F. Becker. I already have it. I got it when I was back in South Africa. He gave it to me. I've got that one. Unlike Monty Jackson's, which I can't get the cap off of, I got it off his. Dance Monkey. There you go. Dance Monkey. Spring has sprung in South Africa. Well, the rain has stopped here now, so I can go back to my table over there and get away from the cigarettes. So let's see. The rain has stopped. Oh, there's a super chat. The clouds are gathering. Looks like I can come back over here now and get away from the smokes. Like I said, the clouds are... Oh, now my seat is completely soaked up, man. Oh, my goodness. Good Lord. There's like a half inch of rainwater on there. What's that? No, you can smoke, man. I'm in your way. Don't move. Relax. Enjoy your cigarette. Enjoy your cigarette, man. I didn't want to sit here anyway. I just moved because I was getting wet in the rain. What's that?
You're better off staying underneath the umbrella.
Well, we'll see how it goes. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. It's kind of you. Well, that was very kind of him. But I'm back to where I started, which is where I want to be, because I don't disturb people over here. Man, this table is soaked. All right, my tray back together. Use it to carry everything over. It's like a spring shower, man. That's what it was. Got completely soaked. Whew, man, the cigarettes still smell, though. Whew. All right, here we go. Back over here. So that's why I sat over here in the corner, so I wouldn't bother people, or they wouldn't bother me. Take your pick. I assume you all can still hear me. Man, it lingers, the smell. But he was very kind and polite to get up and go. He didn't have to. He went inside. Oof, man, that's still lingering. All right, there we go. We're back now. Except that that's still wet there. Now I'm wearing swimming trunks, so I don't mind if I sit on a wet bench. How many people are still here? Did we lose everybody? Oh, we still got 400. Cool. We're back. We're back where we started now, folks. Oh, this table is still wet. There we go. Put that there. This here. This here. All right, we're getting there. All right. No wonder the mouse wasn't working, because the table is wet. There we go. All right. Afraid of a wet chair. No, I'm not afraid of a wet chair. I just said I'm wearing shorts. I'm wearing swimming trunks, so not a problem. And this thing is locked up, so I can't see anything there. So let me try to reload the page and see if it works. Rain gathering. Yeah, clouds are gathering. Well, super chats were coming, but they stopped. Don't forget your smokes. Ha 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 ha, Aretha, that's funny. That's funny. Don't forget your smokes. No smokes here. All right, well, this has been an interesting stream, huh? The mouse is gathering clouds. You guys are having a lot of fun here. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. Yeah, nothing's happening here. All right, I'm going to shut down the laptop. Put it to sleep. And I'll rely on just the mobile now. You know what this means? What does it mean? English rap. Oh, I can use the hoodie. You're saying use the hoodie to wipe off the table. That's just mean, man. That's just messed up. That's messed up. A Temu mouse. No, it's not a Temu mouse. It's a wet mouse is the problem. So rain came and just, oh, geez. So I've got to dry this thing off. There we go. Anyway, wow. And it was only for like 10 minutes, and then it cleared off. So I can see that, okay, the clouds were actually coming this direction towards me. I couldn't tell because they're overhead, because the sun was over there. Now the sunlight's coming this way. Anyway. Oh, my laptop got soaked. Microclimate. Yeah, I need that. Aha, Charles says yours would be good for something. Yeah, my finger, it feels like it's broken here. What the hell's going on with this finger? Like that bone feels like it's broken, right? Ow! Jesus, that hurts. Man, that hurts. It feels like it's fractured or broken. How did I do that? This one's fine. I can squeeze it there, but I cannot squeeze this finger. Gee, many crickets. Ouch, that hurts like hell. Jaguar, what am I sharing with you? A whole bunch of stuff. We talked about Operation Losi 3. We talked about Gate McKenzie and the South African Human Rights Commission. We talked about a whole bunch of things, man. You're late. It's not rheumatism, Rudolph. No, it's not. It's not rheumatism. It's broken. Britain's climate. Okay, arthritis. It's not. You guys are stop it. It's not arthritis, and it's not It's not rheumatism. I've done something to it. I've injured it somehow and didn't even realize it. Anyway, you guys are just being cheeky out there. Just moved back to watch the rain move too. Any news? Tanya, I've talked about the refugee. I made a video. You need to watch it. Caught it on the table edge somewhere. Could be. When we hit 60, everything goes. Look, El Marie, I told people, I said, you know, if the Department of Health and Human Services of the United States wants to help citizens, what they should stop with the old age. I'm not old. What they should do is make a book that says crap that stops working when you turn 50. So as I said before, 95% of adults over the age of 50 have presbyopia, which is a hardening of the lens. When the lens is hardened, they can't adjust and focus in on the close and the long range when you shift up and down. So I can read that license plates over there, not as well as I used to, CV4, Bravo 2 Kilo. I can read that license plate. He's 120 meters away from me. I can read that plate. I can read that sign, welcome, car park, upper, lower level. But I can't read that unless I put these bad boys on because my lenses are hard. Really as old as the woman you feel. That's messed up. That's messed up. Anyway, so yeah, clouds are gathering. Yes, the clouds are. Well, now clouds are dispersing. Clouds are dispersing. Clouds are dispersing. 8% of all people will never sprint again after the age of 40. Well, apparently I'm in that 20% because I was still sprinting at the age of 55, still running from bases. Your finger reminds me of something that happened to me in SAPS. I was dragged through the air by, crazy. My wife is 41, says Charles. Okay. Goes down here after 45. Well, I don't know. Legion, 120 Rand Super Chat. Thank you for that. Super Chats are coming. Super Chats are coming. Ta-ta, Super Chats are coming. It's too funny, guys. You're killing me. You're killing me. I love what Garrett says. The older I get, the better I was. That's a good line, man. I like that line. That is a good line. The older I get, the better I was. Oh, man. Martin Fundavestizing, how you doing? When you hit 50, you start aging in dog years. Oh, I hope not. I hope not. That's funny. Helen of Troy, what's going on? Keep sending the super chats. Colonel needs to pay for those dishcloths. Yeah, the super chats I've gotten so far won't even pay for what I bought. Never a runner. Swimming is my thing. Swimming's good exercise, Candace. Not my cup of tea, but it's a good thing. Old age creeping up, Chris. Spectacles, finger injuries from nowhere. Finland, what do you think of Sweden? So Primal Boar, I like Sweden, but not as much as I like Finland. I like the Swedes as a people and the Swedish ladies, but and I like Skåne, and I like Stockholm and Öland, but I really, really like Finland. Although the Swedes are more ethnically and by blood my relations. I'm not related to Finns at all. They're a Finno-Uric group of people, like the Hungarians and the Estonians. But yeah, Sweden is lovely. But Sweden has got a major immigration problem as well. And you know, it's interesting that there was no Swedish word for gang rape until the 1980s or 70s or 80s, and now they have gang rape because they let over 1 million plus of these people in the country who have brought these messed up values and have been raping Swedish women and girls. Cutting trees and woke up with a sore back. Oh, I'm getting old. I remembered I got hit with a breaker bar in the back. Good Lord, Light Rain. Ouch. That sucks. That sucks. Yeah, no, it's true. But you would think that back in the day, maybe the Vikings had done that sort of thing, but I guess not. Elmarie Swart, 140 Rand. Colonel, laugh is good for the soul. Thanks for the laughs. We appreciate you so much. So there you go. Super chats are coming. Super chats are coming. Ta-ta. Ta-ta. Super chats are coming. Yes, Minir. Pala Pala. Super chats are coming. Bloodline is Danish. I've got Danish as well, and Dutch and Frisian and German, Swiss, Norman, Celtic, Irish, English, all of that. Oh, come. 3 years ago, I still dove through the fence to stop the cows. Yeah, exactly. No refugee questions, but I watched your video today. Yeah, there are a lot of refugees gone over. There are still us here. Please make a video or two of those holding on by their teeth. I don't understand what you'll make. Germany took Denmark in 48 hours. Yeah, that's true. That's true, because the army just laid down its arms. The king said, lay down your arms. pavement special. Anyway, Colonel, eyes, hip, and now getting soft on us. No, Alan, I'm not getting soft. Sweden is beautiful. I'm enjoying Sweden, but you can see they have some issues here. Cross your border and straighten your face. Yep. May I send you the link? Yes, please send me the link, Lindy. Please do. Yeah, it's very upsetting. I'll go after that. It's just more evidence that Trump is right. He's 100% right about this. So anyway, guys, let's wrap it up here. Even I hate to collapse when I've got 410 people watching, but hour and a half, I think that's enough for today. Be sure to hit the like button, and if you want a super chats are coming. Helen says no. Well, I'm going to do a Night Owls later tonight, so we're going to drop it off here, folks. You guys have a good evening. Thanks for watching. I got to get the water off my laptop and then take my my English hoodie back to the car. Thanks all for watching. What's the next live? Probably later tonight, midnight South Africa time. Conscious Caracle's on now, so please go over there and watch it if you don't mind, okay? Forgot it's Tuesday. Cheers, everybody. Be safe. Take care. God bless. Thanks for the super chats.